The council chamber of Thalvian Prime echoed with the thunder of the elder's voice. You have dishonored your clans. You are stripped of rank and duty. Until you prove your worth, you will live among the primitive species of Earth. Two young alien women stood before the tribunal. Their shoulders squared, though shame weighed heavy. Zyra, tall with bronze skin that shimmered faintly under the chamber's lights. Clench your jaw. She was a warrior, trained to fight and lead, yet her defiance against an unjust commander had been deemed insubordination. Beside her, Leora, smaller and slender, with silver eyes that glowed softly, kept her gaze lowered. She was a scholar, guilty of hacking forbidden archives in search of knowledge the council wanted hidden. Now both were sentenced to Earth, a planet dismissed as backward and fragile. The chamber doors sealed behind them. Moments later, a transport pod hurled them across the void. Their exile had begun. They arrived in a burst of light in a deserted field on Earth, the summer air thick with heat and the scent of grass. Both staggered out of the pod, their fine armor replaced with simple clothing that blended into human society. Part of the council's punishment. No weapons, no ships, no status. Zyra muttered bitterly. Just here. Leora knelt, touching the earth as if it might reveal secrets. Perhaps this is not punishment, she whispered. Perhaps it is chance. But Zyra had no patience for hope. We will endure, then return home stronger. They walked until lights appeared in the distance, lamps, glowing houses, streets lined with unfamiliar machines. A human settlement. Their first encounter came sooner than expected. On the edge of town, they stumbled upon a small diner. The sign buzzed with neon letters, Marty's Grill. Hunger gnawed at them. Inside, the smell of food was intoxicating. Behind the counter stood a man wiping glasses, his hair dark and messy, his smile warm. Well, hello there. You two lost. Zyra stiffened, instinct ready to defend. But Leora placed a calming hand on her arm. Yes, Leora said softly. We are new here. The man's eyes softened. Name's Daniel. Grab a seat. First meal's on me. They sat in a corner booth, unsure how to hold the cutlery, overwhelmed by the flavors of their first human meal. Zyra eyed the steaming burger suspiciously, but when she bit into it, her eyes widened. By the moons! Daniel chuckled at their awkwardness. You two aren't from around here, huh? You could say that, Leora replied carefully. Weeks turned into months. The girl stayed near the town, finding odd jobs. Zyra took work in construction, her strength surprising the men around her. Leora volunteered at the library, devouring human literature with insatiable hunger. And slowly, Earth no longer felt like exile. Daniel became their anchor. He taught Zyra how to drive an old truck, laughing when she nearly crashed into a mailbox. He brought Leora stacks of books, smiling at the way her eyes lit up. The two alien girls began to change. Zyra, once hardened and closed off, found herself softening in Daniel's presence. His steady kindness, his unshaken humanity. It broke down her walls. One night, after a long day at construction site, she lingered outside the diner with him. You trust too easily, she said. You took us in, strangers you knew nothing about. Daniel shrugged. Sometimes you just know when people are worth trusting. Zyra's heart, a warrior's heart trained to be steel, betrayed her. It beat faster. Leora's story unfolded differently. At the library, she met Emily, a young woman with paint-stained hands and a laugh that filled the air like birdsong. Emily would sit with her for hours, showing her sketches and paintings. You see the world differently, Leora said one evening, gazing at a canvas of a stormy sea. And you, Emily replied, brushing silver strands of hair from Leora's face, see it more deeply than anyone I've ever met. Leora had always chased knowledge, but now she discovered something beyond data, connection, tenderness, a love that asked for nothing but her presence. But exile is never without shadows. One cold autumn night, the sky split open. A ship descended in silence, cloaked in shadow. The council had come to check on them. Zyra and Leora were summoned to the field where they first arrived. A tall figure emerged from the craft, an overseer. You have served your punishment, the overseer intoned. You may return. Zyra glanced at Daniel, who had followed her, his face pale. Leora reached for Emily's hand, squeezing it tightly. Return. To status, to their world, to their people. But Earth had given them something Thalvian Prime never had. Love. No, Zyra said firmly, stepping forward. We choose to stay. The Overseer's eyes glowed with disapproval. You would forsake your clans? Your honor? I have found more honor here, Zyra said, lifting her chin. She reached for Daniel's hand. I will not abandon him. Leora, trembling but resolute, added, and I will not abandon her. She looked at Emily with tears shining in her silver eyes. This planet has shown me truths your council never allowed. The Overseer's voice dropped like a blade. Then you are severed from Thalvian forever. So be it, Zyra said. The ship rose and vanished into the night, leaving only silence behind. Life after that was not simple. They were cut off from their people, their past erased. But in that erasure, they built new lives. Zyra worked side by side with Daniel, helping him expand the diner, her laughter echoing where once there had only been silence. She no longer carried herself like a soldier, but like a woman who had finally laid down her weapons. Leora and Emily painted murals together, filling blank walls with color. Their love was quiet, gentle, like the slow bloom of spring after a long winter. Sometimes, when stars lit the sky, Zyra and Leora would sit together on the diner's roof. Do you ever regret it? Leora would ask. Never, Zyra replied, gazing at Daniel through the window below. We were sent here as punishment, but Earth gave us freedom. Leora leaned against her shoulder, smiling softly. And love. Years passed. The alien girls became part of the town story. Mysterious at first, but soon simply Zyra and Leora, loved for who they were. And though the galaxy might forget them, Earth never would. For punishment had brought them to exile, but love had made it home.